Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make the ultimate survival roller coaster treehouse. I have to admit to you, ladies and gentlemen, this one is pretty insane. If you are new around here, if you aren't familiar with my channel, please subscribe and click the little bell next to the subscription button. That'll ensure that you get all my stuff sent directly to your sub box. And not only that, if you make it all the way to the end of the video, I'll have a special surprise for you. I'll show you the inside of the treehouse. There is a lot to this treehouse. The interior is massive, and it has a lot of different levels that I think that you guys might want to see. So make it all the way to the end to see the inside. That is all I'm going to ask. And that is pretty much everything, ladies and gentlemen. I do hope that you enjoyed this one. I spent a lot of time on this. I think it's pretty insane. Let's get started. I look like a little baby hanging out of a high chair. Now, before we begin building, ladies and gentlemen, here are all of the materials that we are going to be needing for the ultimate survival roller coaster treehouse. Please make sure that you have access to every single one of these and enough of them, as well as we will be needing all of those. The amount of ground space required to make the treehouse is a measly 10 by 16 block area. Feel free to make this grid in your world if you so choose. It's completely up to you. It isn't that big, so you can probably just get away with just sticking it anywhere. And that's it. Please make sure that you have access to all of those things. Make sure that you've got enough room to build it. Even build the grid if you want to. I certainly have. And once you're ready, we can begin. So, step one, roller coaster friends. We are going to come all the way to the front right-hand corner of our grid, which is right here. We're then going to count left by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're going to count inwards by 1, 2, 3. We're really coasting on here. This is the starting position. So I want you to place an oak wood, 2 to the left of it. I want you to place 2 oak woods going left and backwards, 2 more going backwards, 2 oak woods going right and backwards, 2 going to the right, 2 coming front and to the right, 2 coming forwards, and finally 1 in this corner like this to give you what is kind of a circular shape. Now, once you have created the circular shape, we are going to add 36 more rows, you heard me, 36 more rows of oak wood on top of every single one of these. So let's count this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Perfect. Okay, so the reason that we chose 36, by the way, isn't arbitrary, and of course you want to raise up all of these up by 36, so I'm going to explain this as I'm talking. The number 36 is not arbitrary. You see, you will have seen at the start of the video that the roller coaster ends in a specific place. It actually ends up on the right side of the tree and builds directly into the platform. So the roller coaster literally takes you inside of your treehouse, and it kind of sort of ends in the same position that it starts. It ends and starts on the right side of the tree, and it has a nice perfect couple of loops around the tree, so it's quite cool. Hence why we're raising it up by 36. You see, if you change the size of the tree, you make it taller, you make it smaller, you're going to change where the roller coaster actually ends up going. Which doesn't mean to say that you can't do that. You're more than welcome to do that. But if you want it to look like the one at the start of the video, then this is about the number that we're going to be going with. Although, I would implore you, if you want to build a roller coaster treehouse that goes very, very high, feel free to do so. You could even have one that goes very, very low. It'd still look cool, but the reason that we're building this so tall is to get a specific look with the coaster. And of course, there are a couple of cool features up the tree that you may or may not have noticed from the start of the video. For instance, you might have noticed that somewhere up the right side of the tree, there is a little sort of balcony that you can walk out from, and it's got like a house face on it, and it signifies one of the levels. You won't have seen the inside of the treehouse yet, unless you have been very naughty and you've skipped to the end of the video before this point. I don't blame you, but unless you've done that, then you wouldn't have seen that this house has many levels. It's not just the little mini house at the bottom, it's not just the house at the top. It's got a few separate levels with several bedrooms. It's actually got about 3 or 4 of them if I remember correctly. It's a huge tree. So, yeah, there's plenty of surprises with this treehouse that you won't really get to see unless you do make it to the very end, or unless you skip forwards. Which you can do, as long as you come back. Well, actually, there's no law against it, although there should be, but you can skip back and forth if you like, or you can just have a look at the end and be like, nah, I don't think so, this project's too huge and cool for me. But anyway, this is what the tree should look like so far. This is the tree trunk. Now we are going to take out our handy birchwood planks. We are placing birchwood planks around the corners of the top of the tree trunk. So we are turning it into a nice solid square like this, right? Now this is significant, and the reason why is because we want to make a platform. We're going to make the platform first of all. And the platform is going to come out of these sides, the right and left, 10 rows. Like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The same on the opposite side. It's going to come out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like that. It is going to come out of the front and back by 3. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. Okay, so not only does this look like a messed up fidget spinner, but we want to turn this into a rectangular shape. So all you do is you even out the edges, you connect the sides to the front and the front and sides to the back and all of that. You connect it all together and it will give you a platform. Now, we will not be done after we have created the rectangle, but it gives us a decent sort of starting shape. You will see what I'm talking about once we get there, but you want to basically do that to both halves. The best way to make a cool random looking shape is to start with a normal one. And that is exactly what we're doing here. Well, the platform isn't exactly random, I shouldn't say that, but it is quite a cool shape. It's essentially an oval. And the reason that it's an oval shape is because the house that is going to sit upon this platform is very long, like it's very wide. It's not so thick, but it's quite wide. And it looks quite cool when placed upon an oval platform, like it really complements the shape. So, speaking of shapes, this is the rectangular shape that we have right now. We want to add 3 more rows on the front and the back of this shape. And all we have to do to accomplish this is on both sides leave 2 blocks alone and then add another row of birchwood planks in front. That is it. So you do this 3 times. You can see 2 blocks, add a row, leave 2 blocks alone, add a row. Same 1 more time, 2 blocks alone, add a row. You'll end up with this shape right here. Feel free to add more. I wouldn't. But you want to do the same on the back. So again, you just leave 2 blocks off, add a row, 2 blocks off, add a row, so on and so forth until you are happy with the result. So, like a this. And once you have done this, we are going to just put a bit of a border around this using oak wood slabs. So the oak wood slabs are just going to be placed all the way around the top of this. You may have seen me do this a few times. You see, this is my favorite way to color a treehouse. I love this color combination, I really do. It's so nice. It's perfect for me, especially for survival builds. I love oak and birch together. That doesn't mean to say that some of the other color combinations aren't as good, say like spruce and oak, or birch and spruce, or dark oak and acacia, and all of those other, might I say, not my favorite materials, but oak and birch for me, I just like how it looks. It's such a nice, clean, survival-looking combination. So, eventually, once you have put perilous, tireless work into this, you will end up with this. We're now going to extend up the trunk of the tree a little bit more, because we are building the house around the trunk of the tree, not the other way around. So, we are going to extend the trunk of the tree upwards, all of this, the frame, by 12 blocks. It will look like this, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There we go. Now, you can indeed, of course, as always, alter this, make it higher, make it smaller, what have you. I wouldn't make it smaller because it's just about big enough to get a cool little overseeing balcony all the way up at the top of the tree. And then you've literally got, the leaves, what would you call that, the tree line? I don't know, but basically you've got what I would call the hair of the tree all the way up at the top of the build, and you've just got the little room just below it. So I wouldn't alter it in those ways, but you could make it taller. Wouldn't make it smaller, could make it taller though. Although again, I wouldn't, because we went for a specific look here. If we were just trying to get the largest roller coaster possible, which I might do in one build, the largest roller coaster possible, then we'd obviously make this 10 times taller. If you can. I don't think you can make it 10 times taller, you'd hit the sky limit, but that's beyond the point. But this will actually give us the perfect amount of blocks. And, well, you'll see that as we progress through the build. We're actually going to be building the actual house part next, which I'm quite excited about. So, as you can see, we've laid a huge foundation now, right? I don't even know what to compare that to, but it looks kind of cool. So, now that you have reached this point in the build, and very well done, because that is a huge amount of the foundational work complete. Now, we can start working on the house, like I said. So, I want you to come all the way up to the top of your build, right? We are going to begin work on the platform. And we're going to begin work in a specific place. 2 specific places to be exact. Here, and here. These oak woods. I want you to place 4 birch planks coming outwards towards the front of the build. From 1, 2, 3, 4, from those oak woods. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like that. Raise them up by 2 rows. So, 1 row, both sides, and 2 rows on both sides. Just like that. So, to give context, a door is going to be right in the middle, 1 row backwards here. Just like that, right? I want you to place upside down birchwood stairs coming inwards from the top 2 corners of the frame of the door, and place oak wood planks left and right of the door coming up to the top, and then a glass block above the door. It's a nice combination. You can also place a birchwood plank in the middle connected together by the 2 stairs. You don't have to place anything else. You'll see what I mean once we add the roof, but it kind of wants to look like that. That is actually perfection right now. So now that we have what I didn't say this, but you did, perfection. Now that we've created perfection that doesn't have a roof, we want to come to the right side, and we'll be doing the same on the left. So on the right side, you want to find not the first, not the second, but the third, and you want to extend it outwards by 6 using birchwood planks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You then want to extend backwards by 2, 1, 2, and then outwards by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that. And then what do you want to do from here? Well, you want to extend it backwards by 4 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you want to extend it inwards by the same amount, 1, 2, 3, 4. You're then going to extend backwards by 2 blocks, 1, 2. You're then going to extend to the right by 1, like inwards by 1, and then towards you by 3, 1, 2, 3, like this. And then you're going to extend across to the right by 14. But you don't have, we'll do it this way, by 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We're then going to extend that 14th block inwards by 3, so that's 1, 2, 3, and then extend right 1, and then inwards by 2, 1, 2, and then extend right by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then forwards by again 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we are extending back towards the center here, and we're going to do that once more by 4, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then forwards by 2, 1, 2, and then you can pretty much just extend right. So what you will end up with is an equal shape that kind of reminds me of a Space Invader a little bit. If you imagine the eyes, kind of like a Space Invader. So this is the shape that we will end up with, okay? So that is perfect. However, we have to make some alterations. So, some alterations? We're going to have a fight with the treehouse? I meant alterations, not altercations. Silly me. It's raining. Maybe we are going to have an altercation with the treehouse. Hang on, my bad. So, a few things that we have to do to the treehouse is add some windows. So these windows have to be in a specific place. We're going to do the right side and then the left. So, upon the long row of birchwood planks that comes directly outwards from the entrance, we want to locate these two middle blocks and place a 2x2 square of glass on top of those middle blocks. If we move slightly to the right and we find this row of birchwood planks here, we want to find these two blocks. It won't look like the middle blocks from the top, but from the front, these are the two middle blocks, and you want to place glass on top of these. And you want to do the same on the back part. And that's it. You can add more glass later, if you want, but this is the base amount of glass. Let's do the same on the opposite side. So on the left side here, we take the two middle blocks, add a 2x2 layer of glass, and we move slightly to the left here, and we take these two middle blocks, and they are the middle blocks despite the fact they don't look like it, and we add the glass on the front and the glass on the back, just like that. So we will end up with this sort of shape. What we then want to do is take out our birchwood planks, and we want to raise up the house a little bit. So left and right of the entrance, we want to add 3 rows of birch planks on top of the frame. 1, 2, 3. And you want to do this on the left and right sides. It is a little bit different everywhere. You can even do it so that it's coming backwards a little bit like this. And you can even go so far as to move through the house and add 3 rows of birch on top of the back part here. So that is about the amount of rows of free birch that you can add. You can do the same on the opposite side. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, here, next to the window. And then as we move back to the back part of the house, like we move through the build, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and also here 1, 2, 3. So it will end up looking like this. However, we have the 2 little side parts of the build here. We're going to only add 2 birch. So 1, 2, and this is basically just around these smaller windows. We have multiple levels so that we can add multiple roofs so the house looks cooler. That's pretty much all there is to it. And we want to do the same on the back as well, or on the opposite side I should say. So on the opposite side we want to have the same level of birchness that we have there. And that's perfect. So the next thing that we want to do, of course, is also the back. On the back we are only going to have, I do believe that it's only 1 row in a couple of places, but we're going to add 2 rows onto the back, and we may alter it a little bit later on, and we might knock a couple of blocks off. But for the most part, we're just going to add 2 rows of birchwood planks just directly on the back like this. And now that we've done that, we can begin adding the roof. The roof is almost exclusively made out of oak wood slabs. So we're going to take care of the front entrance first of all. We want to place oak wood slabs on the sides of the entrance, extending out the sides of the top 2 corners of birchwood planks and extending outwards by 1 row. It looks like this. We then want to slowly extend them inwards and upwards to create a triangular shape that is quite pleasing to look at, like that. You then extend the slabs back like this to connect to the tree trunk. You'll find that some blocks are just oak wood planks, and you can use those instead of slabs if you like. But the end result will inevitably, no matter what you do, end up like this, which looks pretty good. This is a similar method to what we will do back here. So, we want to have the same style of roof on the sides of the build as well, so here. So, place a row of oak wood slabs coming across the top and joining to the center part of the roof, almost as if it all just joins up together like that. You want to overhang the roof on the sides by one, like this. And you will also want to extend the oak wood slabs back and up. The purpose of this is to extend the oak wood slabs back and up until they are level with the middle of the tree trunk on both sides. Like that. That is the middle point. It's more something that you kind of eye up than is something that you measure, but just extend up and backwards like this. And eventually, you will find that it is nice and even and level with the trunk of the tree. You can then proceed to just fill in the roof like this. Whoops, not here. There we go. You can fill in the trunk of the tree, and you can use oak wood planks where it makes sense. So again, every other block is actually going to be an oak wood plank. Some of them only exist as oak wood slabs, but some of them are oak wood planks, and I use those where I can because it's a little bit better. So there you go. You can see how that all works. The little smaller roofs here are very, very similar in that you place a row of oak wood slabs coming across the top on both sides. You can do it on the front and the back in this case. And you can extend them inwards and upwards, both of them, like this. So just to give you a bit of an idea, this is what these little roofs look like. So they all use the exact same sort of style roof. However, we do also want to finish the front part of the roof, and that is about as simple as you might imagine. Once you have hit the apex, which is connected to the tree trunk, you extend back and down and back and down, and so on and so forth, back and down, back and down, back and down. You guys get the idea, until eventually you kind of sit almost, where are we? Here we go. So eventually the oak wood will sit along the side of the birch wood planks. So you see, yeah, we are going to take that top level of birch wood off, as I said, but you can extend it across and up and backwards, and just going to get rid of that as well, I guess. And no, it has to, silly me. We didn't extend it out far enough, did we? So it wants to come out as far as here. There we go. And then up and back. I deleted those for no reason. They can stay, actually. So here and here, here, here. There we go. So you guys have got an idea of how the frame works now, right? So just like this. And then we've got this little smaller part as well. I just want to add the frame, and then we can fill it all in, all like now, peaceful and relaxed, and we can talk about whether or not we want to add some small details to the build as well. So there we go, perfect. So now you guys get the idea. We are going to chop out this row of birchwood planks. I did think that we'd have to delete it when we made it, but hey, here we are. And then I'm going to add oakwood planks where there is oakwood planks to the roof, and I'm going to add oakwood slabs where there is oakwood slabs to the roof. Feel free to fill the roof in any sort of way you choose, but this is how mine is going to end up looking, and I hope that you guys manage to fill your roofs in successfully as well. So once the roof's done, it's actually a huge milestone, because once the roof is done, we can start adding just the little parts to the house. And once the house itself is done, we will of course be able to work on the lower part of the house as well. And we can start working on the transportation system, which is of course the roller coaster. But we do have a few things left to do. Some of them are easier to do than others. Some parts of the roof are easier to do than others, I should say. So here, and then we've kind of got to like sneak in here a little bit, jam ourselves in. There we go. And then we can add, you know what, I'll add the oak wood slabs here, and I'll have to do the same on the other side. So I'm going to whip over to this other side here, and I'm just going to fill in the roof from the inside because it will be a bit easier. And that's also actually what we're going to be doing when it comes to filling in gaps, because we're going to have a couple of gaps, and you guys will see why. So I think I don't know whether that is the roof filled in or not. Let's take a look here. So is that the roof filled in? I think, oh no, we've got a row of oak wood slabs here. Never mind the gaps. The gaps aren't important at the moment, but what is important is that we have added in all of the oak wood slabs. And yes, we have. That is perfect. So what you now do is you come inside the treehouse. You might have to destroy a couple of blocks to be able to maneuver through the treehouse, but you want to fill in any gaps that you have using birchwood planks. So like this gap where you can see outside, birchwood plank it. You'll have a similar set of gaps on the opposite side. It's only on the sides, I think, that you'll encounter this problem. But if you just place birchwood planks on the inside, that will actually completely seal it up. So we will have something which will look like, hang on, whoop, like that. Which is pretty good, right? Like that's a decent looking treehouse. It's not too bad at all. That looks great, actually. Now, once you have done that, we are going to add the little upper level part of the treehouse. So, if you come all the way up to the top front of the treehouse, like where the trunk of the tree sticks out the treehouse on the front, we are going to place, leaving a gap of 2. So, like, leave this half gap and leave a whole row of 1, and then here is where we're going to place it. Place birchwood planks in front of this, extend it across and connect to the sides like this, and also I want to make sure that this is correct because I'm looking at it head on, and then add another row of 3 birch wood sticking out of the front like that. And then what we're going to do is take the very sides here, the left side and the right side touching the tree trunk, and we're going to extend them upwards by 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to carve out all of this oak wood in between, place upside down birchwood stairs in these top 2 corners, destroy this oak wood in between them at the top and place a birchwood plank there. We're then going to place 1 row behind all of this. So you see this is tricky. I'm going to add a little floor in here, leading outwards from the balcony, a little bit like that. And there's going to be an oak door in this position. And there's going to be oak wood planks left and right of the oak door, similar to the door that we made earlier, with glass in between the top. So it'll end up looking a little something like that, right? Which looks pretty good. So all you've got to do is put a roof on it, which is oak wood slabs extended out from the sides of the top of the door frame. And then you want to extend these slabs inwards and up and in and up, in, up, like that. And then you just join the corners together to the tree trunk. We're going to place oak wood slabs around the sides of the birchwood planks like this. That is perfect. And now that we have done that, we can also add, we don't think we need much oak logs anymore. We need oak fence, and we're going to place oak fence around the trims of the platform. So like this platform, for instance, we're going to add oak wood slabs around the trim of the platform is what I'm calling it, just like this. And we're going to do the same thing for the little sticky out part up at the top of the tree as well. So oak fence going all the way around this and also up at the top of the platform. So this will look pretty good here and then here as well. We can refine all of this a little bit later on, but I did just want to get that taken care of. So that looks great, right? Doesn't that make such a difference? That makes the build look a lot better. Some additional details that you can add to the area is you can add, if you want, oak trapdoors left and right of the large windows on the sides. I feel as though it separates them a little bit from the smaller windows, which you can add trapdoors to, but I only want them on the larger windows. You can even take out the middle parts of the floors, and you can place upside down either birchwood stairs or oakwood stairs, like this. You can do the same to the sides if you like, it's up to you. You could even leave the actual sides alone, but if you do it on the front or the back, it might look cool. You could even do it coming along the back here as well. I don't have much room now that I've kind of boxed myself in, but it's a choice whether you want to or not. Like, it's a design choice. So whether or not you kind of want to do that, it adds a little bit of extra something to the build, you know? That came out a little high, didn't it? Adds a little something to the build. Now, once you've done that, ladies and gentlemen, and very well done for reaching this part. That's a huge amount of the house built. We've got more of the house to build. Okay, so now that we've done with the upper part of the house, we're going to drop down, all the way down to the lower part of the build. Because there's two ways to get up the house. Up the tree, I should say. You've got the roller coaster, and you've got an internal ladder, just in case you can't be bothered with the roller coaster. And the internal ladder is housed by a house. So, right the way up at the bottom of the build, right the way down at the bottom of the build, we want to place a row of 3 birchwood planks coming outwards from this oak wood, 1, 2, 3, and this oak wood, 1, 2, 3. This is going to seem very familiar, by the way. I want you to add 2 rows on top, 1, 2, and 1, 2. Place upside down birchwood stairs coming inwards on both sides. Place a door right in the middle behind all of this. And place oakwood planks left and right of the door. And glass above the door, like that. I want you to place oakwood slabs. Actually, this can wait a second because we can make the rest of the house before we have to make it complicated. So, what I then want you to do is I want you to take not the first, not the second, but the third birch plank block, the ones that's actually like touching the tree. And I want you to place a row of 6 birchwood planks coming out of the left side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Also extend it back by the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And connect it to the tree. So we are now going to add a window to this part. The window is right in the middle, so you've got a row of 6, the 2 middle blocks leaves you 2 on either side, and you place a 2x2 area of glass. You then want to raise up everywhere else using birchwood planks, and you want to add 3 rows of birch on top of this. So 1, 2, 3 next to the windows, it connects the top and across to the tree trunk. You can do the same on the side and on the back. Whether or not you want to add a window on the back is up to you. You can if you want. I mean, I might even do that myself. Like, why not add a window on the back just for the fun of it? And we can add 3 birchwood plank rows left and right of these, like that. So, all you have to do from here is... Oh, and by the way, you can also add some additional details. You can add some oakwood trapdoors left and right of the windows, like this. Which I think I'm going to do, because, you know, why not? Let's add a little bit of detail down here. We care about this part. And we're going to place upside down birchwood stairs underneath the windows. Now, that is an option. You can do that or you can't do that, and, you know, it's up to you. But I'm choosing to do it because I think it looks quite nice. Just like that. Just underneath the windows. And now that we have done that, we want to add roofs to this particular part too, which this is kind of where I stopped myself earlier. So we're going to start with the entrance roof, which is here, of course, and we are going to place oakwood slabs coming outwards from both sides of the top of the entrance. It will connect all the way to the trunk of the tree, like this. And then we're going to extend the oakwood slabs inwards and upwards on both sides. So inwards and upwards on both sides, join them in the middle and up, like this. We're going to connect them to the tree trunk like so, with oakwood planks left and right here as well, and also some oakwood slabs joined to the trunk of the tree. And we're going to place birchwood planks up above, connected together like this. And then we're also going to have the same roof pattern on the side. So it will start here, extend out to the left side, it'll extend out, and we can do this on the back as well. Like on the back, you're probably going to want to have it like maybe come about this far into where the oak wood actually is. Like it's not an actual proper stopping point, is it? So you can kind of keep going with it and extend them outwards, and then extend them in and up, and in and up. And you keep doing that on both sides, and eventually it'll even out with the middle of the tree. Like magic! And then we're going to place birchwood planks underneath here to fill these gaps in. And then we're going to extend these slabs across. I'm only going to do these slabs like this. Where else are the slabs? So here, and then here. And then oakwood planks joined in these gaps as well. So here, and what? Here, and here. Like that. So you will end up with something that should look like that. Which, all the way up at the top of the treehouse, kind of got a similar sort of vibe. Which is exactly why we've done it. Now, the next thing that we are going to do, and I'm sure that you guys have been waiting for this point, we are going to do the roller coaster. That's right. It's time for us to do the roller coaster. So, how do we build the roller coaster? It's actually incredibly easy, even if it doesn't look it. Let me show you how it's done. So, we start from the entrance of the tree. Right the way down, we take this birchwood plank here, and we move out to the right. Okay, we want to place not on top of this block. Leave 1, 2, 3, 4. On this 4th block, mark it out on the ground and place an oak wood in there. Okay? This is the starting point for the roller coaster. This is where the rail is going to be placed. And I'll tell you what, we'll even get rid of these sort of things here, and we'll grab like the minecart, the powered rail, the rail, and even some like redstone torches. So right here is where we are going to have a powered rail. That is the very beginning of the coaster. And I might even use some oakwood slabs actually to kind of like mark out. So this is right where the entrance to the coaster is. And this is how the roller coaster works. Like, it might have looked complicated at the start, but the roller coaster actually follows very simple rules in building. So here they are. This is all you need to know. The roller coaster is made out of using oakwood planks. The roller coaster always leaves a gap of 2 between the rails and the tree trunk. It leaves a gap of 2. It follows the line of the tree trunk. We only make the roller coaster go up on the sides of the tree trunk. So you can see there we have tree trunks. So we place up and backwards oakwood planks coming up and back as long as it is following the tree trunk. Like this. So you can see that is the same width that is going up and back. And we maintain a distance of 2. On the sides where it is not in line, we have to extend it backwards so that it maintains the distance of 2. It will go back by 3 blocks, and then it will come across, still maintaining the distance of 2, as you can see. So again, you can measure it out if you like. It always maintains a distance of 2 from the tree trunk. You can see that with the birchwood planks, right? But now, as you can see, it comes around the corner. We are in line with the tree again, which means that we place oakwood planks coming up and across, like this, until eventually we run out of tree, which means we extend to the right by 1, 2, and 3 to maintain that distance, and forwards by 1, 2, and 3, which gives us a distance of 2 in both parts, as you can see. And then once we are on this side, once we are level with the tree again, what do? Up, right, up, right, up, right, up, right, up, right, up, right, up. And then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We're back level with the tree. And up, right, up, right, up, right, up, right, up, right, up, right, up. And then we extend right, 1, 2, 3, and back, 1, 2, 3. You will now notice that we are getting very close to the platform, which means we are going to abandon our rules slightly, and we are going to extend up and back until we eventually connect to the platform like this. You see, we only had to go back an additional 1 block. We almost very made it up into the platform. And that will actually, if we have calculated correctly, it should. If we burst in, here we are. We're inside the treehouse. You'd actually knock out this block. You don't have to knock out too many blocks. Can we still get down? Yes, we can. There we go. So that is the line that we take. So, all you've got to remember, you always leave a gap of 2, and you only go up when you are level with the sides of the tree trunk. I hope that I haven't made that complicated. I probably have, because I'm a bit stupid, but hopefully you guys have managed to do that no problem. So, what do you do now? Well, it's quite simple, really. You want to place powered rails on here. So, the powered rails are mainly placed on the ascensions when it goes up. On the corners, you have to use regular rails, as powered rails do not bend. I'll show you. So, powered rails do not bend, regular rails do. So, it's beneficial to use regular rails. And on the ascensions, when it goes up, you use powered rails. So, you simply follow this all the way up. Now, luckily, on Bedrock Edition, which is what I'm playing on, and I'm hoping most of you guys are too, you will find that these are very easy to power. You don't need to put too much effort into it. So once you eventually do reach the top, which I'm almost reaching up here. So the goal is, of course, to get up here, and then you can use like a set of regular rails and maybe even like a stopper here. And there we have a whole set of rails. Which looks pretty good, right? So, it functionally looks good. It doesn't actually look good. We'll make it look better, but that's what it kind of looks like at the moment. Okay, so now that we have a rail system in place, all we have to do is add a border around it to make it look better, and to also power it up. It's also worth mentioning that you don't have to use oakwood planks for the rail part, you can use birchwood planks. And then you would then use the opposite material to kind of like box it in and reinforce the rails. On the original version of my treehouse, I actually made it so that the birchwood planks was the rail part and the oakwood planks was like the reinforced part along the sides. So I've decided to switch it up for this, but you do which you think looks better. Okay, so what we are going to do is box it in a little bit. So, using the opposite material that you used for the actual rails, we are going to place the opposite material just kind of going around the outline of, in this case, oakwood planks. We are placing birchwood planks around, kind of boxing in the rail so nobody can fall off or anything crazy like that. We are boxing this in using birchwood planks. We're going to do the same on the opposite side as well, which is a little bit harder to place, but hey, you know, you can, it's okay, we'll be able to do it. So, we want to just have a border around it. And we are also going to make it look a little bit fancier, because you're going to notice that with all of these birchwood planks, it's going to look a little bit boxy, it's going to look a little bit, maybe even a little bit weird, but through the use of stairs, we're actually going to make it look a little bit better. So you will connect to the top, and it will look like that, which is actually quite nice. I quite like the birch on the oak. It fits really nicely. And we're going to do the same on the opposite side. This is a little bit harder because we're right next to the tree. So we're just going to try our best not to bump into anything or destroy anything. And we're just going to place all of this. So here, here, and whoops, and then here as well. And then it really is just a case of following in the outline. It really is kind of like painting by colors / you know, like filling in a coloring book. Like you just paint in the lines. That's all you got to do. You follow the shape, and that's it. And as I said, I will show you how to make it a little bit prettier. and it won't even require too much effort at all. And you might be thinking, as we're adding in the effort, like adding in all of the extra little bits of detail, you'd be like, oh, why couldn't we have done that to start with? It's actually a little bit easier, I find, to do it this way, to have the frame in place, and then you can do, here we go, and then you can add the detail. But it actually doesn't look bad as it is, so you don't have to do this next part if you want. Like, it actually looks alright like that. But what you can do is, on the fronts, you can knock out the top, like, birchwood planks, so the parts that make it look a little bit chunky like this, right? Coming all the way up to the top. You can knock these off and replace them with stairs, and it makes it look a little bit better and a little bit smoother. And I'm just going to do this coming all the way up the top of the roller coaster, all the way up to the top. And I'll even do it a little bit underneath, like I'm going to do it with the oak part for the rail, and I'm also going to do it for the outside part as well. The inside part I'm actually going to leave alone because we are going to be placing some redstone torches. And we're just going to be placing them on the solid birch blocks, and it's only on the inside parts that we would be where the stairs would be lacking anyway, so it's not as if you're going to see it that much either. So it's mainly for the outside parts. You'd have to look very, very closely and pay very, very close attention to for it to really make a difference. So it's a bit of a tedious work, this is, but you know, it's perfectly worth it, because I think it makes it look a little bit nicer doing that. So what are we going to do from here? Well, you have the choice to add upside down birchwood stairs underneath the birch woods. Like this, you have the choice to add upside down birchwood stairs underneath the sides of the birch wood, like that, and it just smooths it off a little bit. So instead of having like a jagged edge like this, then it just makes it look a bit nicer. We're not going to do it to the inside, as I said, because we're going to be placing torches and stuff in those particular positions. So, and it's on the inside, so it doesn't make a huge impact at all. So we'll have something which looks like this, just to make it look a bit cleaner, comes all the way up to the top. But the only problem with that is, and as you can notice, it makes it look a little bit weird underneath. But that's easily fixed by adding oakwood stairs underneath the overhanging, or oakwood stairs underneath the middle of the oakwood planks. It just makes it look a little bit better. Again, a little bit cleaner, a little bit more refined. It really depends how much effort that you want to put into this. If you're not so bothered, if you just want to put a minimal amount of effort in, you know, you just want your cool roller coaster, you'll probably avoid doing this, and I don't blame you at all. So, it will make an impact though, and we're almost up at the top. So here, I guess it kind of just cuts off, so I guess that'd be there. We'll add another plank here, and then here and here. There we go. And then that looks a lot better. So now from the front, there you go. That looks a bit better, doesn't it? So it's a bit more reinforced, it's a little bit chunkier, and I quite like the colour combination. I like the birch on the oak. But you could use either one, like, it doesn't matter. It's all personal preference at the end of the day. So, the next thing that we have to do to make it work is add some redstone torches. That's all we got to do. Add some redstone torches underneath the tracks on the inside, and you will find that they light up like little Christmas trees. So as long as you place it somewhere on the middle underneath the birchwood planks, you will find that they light up. It should be quite obvious as to whether or not the rail is powered or not. The redstone torches, I find, light up a large area. Some of you guys out there will know exactly how many spaces a redstone torch will light up. I do not know that. So you can see it actually works, which is cool. But here's the thing, if you chuck a minecart on there at the bottom and it accidentally moves, you nudge it, it will kind of take off. And it will go all the way up to the top of the build, and it'll find its way up there. So that is really cool if you want people to be able to use the roller coaster all the time. If you always want the bottom of the roller coaster on, that is a good way to have it. But what you might choose to do is we can get rid of the redstone torch, and we can use switches instead, or levers as they are known, and you can use that to power the rails instead. Like, where have we got to place them to actually power the rails? So here, will that do? Yeah, okay, perfect. And that lights up all of those rails there. So, if you have a lever just like hidden underneath that part, then you can choose whether or not, when you get in your minecart or place it down, whether or not you've got to do it manually. And then that way, you can have it on and off so that you don't have to have it on all the time. But that's completely up to you whether or not that's a small little change that you want to make. So we should be very proud of ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a house at the base, we've got a massive tree trunk, we've got a huge house at the top, a little cool balcony, we've got a rail system to take us to and fro the bottom, but we are missing a couple of things, and I think it is time to add them. So, I'm going to just get rid of all the rail stuff, and I'm just going to grab the oak doors and the oak fence, a bit of glass, maybe even some oak trap doors too. So, coming up the right side of the tree, right, somewhere, I want to have kind of like a little balcony that overlooks like the rail and kind of lets you like peer out onto the world. Now, the way that I have lined this up with the original version of my treehouse is where we have this flat part, the second flat part of the rail here, is where I want there. So take note of the position of these oak wood planks, right? So here, there we go. Like, take note of those oak wood planks and follow them around and place some birch wood planks on the sides of the tree in this position. So where you have these flat oak wood planks here on the second flat part of the track, you want to place birch wood planks on the right side of the tree in conjunction with where those are. You want to place a row of birch wood planks in front of all of that. Extend out the 3 middle blocks like this to create a small platform. Extend up the left and right initial birchwood plank blocks, each by 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3 like that. We are going to then extend this forwards, extend those rows forwards by 1 row, like this. We want to be able to have a door on this right side here. We want to have a split between the door and everywhere else. You want to place a birchwood plank at the bottom with a glass on top, and then we're going to overscore all of that with birchwood planks. Extend the middle upwards by 1 block. That should work very well. I don't think we have to do the other 2. And we want to give this a roof, which means oak wood slabs extending out of both sides. And then you slowly extend them in and upwards both sides like this. So in and upwards, slowly joining up and connecting above the top. So here and here, like this. So we'll have something which should look like that, which just looks like a little house peering out the side of our build. We're going to extend these birchwood planks left and right by 1, extend out the middle 3 blocks, place some oak wood slabs all the way around the top here where we have these birchwood planks. We're going to add oak wood slabs like this, and then some oak fence all the way around on top of the oak wood slabs, which looks really, really good. So like this and here, which is perfect. So now you have a cool little part of the treehouse where you can like peer out and you can take a look at the surrounding environment. And what's also cool is where we placed the 3 birchwood planks for the sides of the house. I'm also going to knock out those equivalent blocks here on the front of the treehouse. I'm going to knock out those equivalent blocks, and I'm going to place glass so that you can peer into the inside of the treehouse as well, which is pretty cool. I'm going to leave a gap of 4 coming down, so that's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then I'm going to knock out 1, 2, 3 glass, and then I'm going to place glass in those empty places. And then I'm going to do the same. I'm going to come up, I'm going to leave a gap of 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3 glass. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then, hang on, this is made tricky. Hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3 glass. That was so frustrating. And then that leads you up to the top of the tree. So there you go. You've got a cool little bit of added detail there that I really, really like. So we've got a cool house poking out the side. We've got some glass in the treehouse. The only things we have to do now is add branches and leaves, guys. We can also add some light and stuff later on, but we're going to add branches and leaves first. Okay, so the first branch is kind of important to me because it balances out the build a little bit. I'm going to use oak logs all the way up at the top left middle side of the treehouse, and I'm going to place a row of oak logs coming out of the side of the top of the tree, kind of in the middle. We are making a branch. The branch wants to be quite thick and it wants to look sort of naturally formed. Like this, right? So something like that's fine. That's not too bad. And we want to add leaves around it. So the purpose of this particular part of the build is basically it balances out the tree a little bit because we've got a lot of stuff happening on the left side of the tree and not so much happening on the right, especially when it comes towards the top. But it makes it look as though that the platform that we have built our entire house on, a huge house, it even has a roller coaster attached to it. All of that is like unsupported except by the platform and the trunk of the tree. So this makes it just look a little bit more reinforced, so to speak. So something like that. I mean, even as small as that is great, but you can add a little bit more to it if you so choose. So something like that would look great. Now, the only thing left for us to do is add the leaves all the way up at the top of the treehouse. This is a daunting task. It takes very, very long to do, and it's not going to be fun to do, so strap in. Okay. So we're going to place oak leaves, or whatever leaves, directly on top of the oak of your treehouse. We're first of all going to turn it into a square. I explain this the same way in every video. This is how I do leaves. This is how I make it look random and natural and sort of normal. We start off with a square. We want this square to extend, and it wants to be either equal size or slightly larger than the area of the platform. So it's quite easy to start off by making a rectangular-ish shape, it doesn't have to be perfect at all, that is either the same sort of size or a little bit larger than the platform that we have just below us. I would highly recommend doing this exactly how I'm doing now, right? And making a solid shape. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect even in the slightest, but start off with a regular shape. You can add some size to it, like on the sides. You can add rows of oak leaves that are a couple of rows shorter on both sides and turn it into an oval. That's what I would recommend doing. Turn it into sort of like an oval shape like this, because that is also very form-fitting as well with the tree. You can even make it look a bit more irregular by like joining in the sides and, you know, knocking some blocks off in a few different places. That's what I'd recommend doing. Start off with a big rectangle and carve it. That's all you've got to do. And once you've kind of have like an outline shape, so something like this will be fine once we've just made this outline. As long as you follow the same sort of rules. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. You guys have seen trees in the wild, right? Trees are not perfect, yet they look fine. They look cool because they look quite random. It's natural, it's nature. It's the same sort of thing that we're going for here. So you can see we've got a similar sort of shape all balanced out. Now, in a perfect world, I would fill all of this in, and I guess that we're going to because it lays a good foundation. Once you have a nice shape that you're sort of happy with, again, a large oval is a good starting place. Like, start with a square, turn it into a large rectangle. Make sure it's about as big, if not bigger, than the platform below. Add some size to it, especially on the sides. The front and back don't matter as much because it's meant to be an oval. Like, the shape is a bit more important on the sides to shape it. Because that's how ovals work. And then I would fill in the shape, because it creates quite a good base. Like, once you've got a shape that you're happy with, fill one row of it in, because then that's fine. You won't ever have to fill the entire thing in again, because it will look great from the outside anyway. But if you don't bother filling it in, it's going to look weird from underneath. And we're also going to be adding details to the underneath part as well. So we also want kind of like a base build up. It's always best to start off with something like just like big and regular and work your way across, in my opinion. Feel free to not do that if you don't want to, but again, it's probably like the easiest way of doing it, in my opinion. So we'll just add all of these leaves just like this, get it all filled in, and then I can show you the techniques that are going to allow you to turn this into a really awesome natural looking tree. And just to be clear, we're not going to be doing all of this on tutorial. Once I show you the techniques, I'll show you the original version, and I'll show you how it all looks and comes together. So, now that you have a large filled-in shape, I'd always recommend starting off by taking the outside edge of the shape. I wish leaves weren't bugged. Take the outside edge of the shape and place... Come on. Yeah, leaves are a bit weird at the moment. Sometimes they don't place, as you can see. Really? I've never known it to be this bad, but you want to take the outside shape of the leaves, and you want to place... I'll use green concrete if I have to, and you want to place the leaves just following the outside shape. This will create 2 layers, which is a pretty decent starting point. If you just have 1 layer, it's easy to turn it into what would look like a flying saucer. But if you've got 2 layers as a starting point, then you can make it look nice and natural. So, I hope that you guys don't have this exact same bug that I do, but it's really annoying. Like, leaves half the time, really, they just don't place. So it makes this whole process a little bit harder. So there we go. That's good. So now we have 2 layers. So now you want to take not only the top, but underneath. Actually, the top we'll start with first. Add layers to the tree by adding rows of oak leaves, 1 row higher, and inside of that second layer of oak leaves that you've added. If you accidentally place blocks, too many blocks, if you double it up in some places, if you make it look weird and random, then that's fine, because that's kind of what we want to do. You want to add layers and layers and layers, and it wants to be a little bit sloppy in some places. That's kind of the point of it. You want to make it a little bit sloppy. It can overlap. It can you can double upon some blocks in some places. You can randomly, accidentally, or purposefully add some like sticky up blocks, kind of like that, right? And we're going to also keep doing this. We're going to keep doing this. Add layers and layers and layers. And eventually we will reach a point where we're happy. We'll reach a point where the leaves look normal, they'll look natural, they'll look great. But it's quite a tedious process because the top of the tree is so huge. So that's why it takes so long. So on a smaller tree, you know, this process isn't so bad. But on a taller tree, like this, it gives you this sort of effect. And you keep doing that. You add more and more layers. But also, you do to the outside, you do this sort of thing, like you can add leaves and take leaves away. You can add some here. You can make them stick out like this. You can add some on top as you go along. You make the shape truly sort of random, but in a calculated way. So, like, as you add more and more layers, you will get more and more canvas to do this to. So, you know, as you get higher and higher up, I mean, that looks alright by itself, but you can, like, chunk out some blocks. You can add some blocks in the middle. You can just, you know, you just do it in a normal, natural manner, like that. So that's how you build up the top of the tree. You just keep adding layers and layers and layers, and you knock out some blocks. You do it all the way around, too. You don't just do it to the top, to the front and the back. You do it to the sides and stuff. So, like, you know, on the sides, you do the same sort of thing. So you add some here, like this, take some away. Doesn't even need that many. That looks a bit too normal. So, you know, you'd add some, take some away. Underneath, especially around the middle of the tree, I would recommend adding some leaves that kind of like come down a little bit and connect to around where the little sticky out part of the tree is, the tree house is. So like this looks pretty decent. and it's an easy way to add a little bit more detail and to phase that in. But also to the under part of the tree, you're going to want to add patches of leaves like this to make it textured on the bottom underneath the tree. You want to add leaves in such a manner that it looks natural, like this, and you're going to want to do it enough so that it doesn't look weird and patchy. So you're going to want to do that sort of thing, right? But everywhere, like all the way underneath, which is why it's such a long process. There's so many parts of this to take care of, and there's no easy way to do it either. I mean, this is probably legit like the easiest way, unless you follow a pattern, or unless you don't care about it looking natural, then something like that. But all the way around. It doesn't even have to dangle down that much, like it can just be a couple of rows. But the more you add, the more natural it will look, and the more it fades into the sides, the more natural it will look, right? So that's kind of the idea as well. It kind of wants to fade into the sides a little bit, and then it will look more normal, and you do it more and more and more. You do the same thing to the top, and that's it. That was a bit abrupt, wasn't it? But, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of the treehouse, we have made all of it. We have a house at the bottom of the tree. We have the trunk of the tree. We've got our detailed house coming up the side. We have a branch sticking out the top. We have a large house and platform all the way up at the top of the tree, which has so much room in it. We even have a little balcony at the top. We have leaves at the top as well. You guys know how to finish that off. I've given you all of the techniques that I know. I'll show you how it looks once it's all nice and done and crafted properly on the original version. And we also have the rail system. There is nothing else I can show you. The only thing that you are going to have to do, ladies and gentlemen, is finish off the leaves of the tree. And that's exactly what I'll do. I'll tell you what, I'll clean up the tree, I'll get rid of all the concrete, I'll finish the leaves on this one, and I'll show you what it looks like, and I'll show you what you should be looking like once you have indeed finished the leaves for yourself. So, I'm going to use those techniques, I'm going to build it all up, I'm going to make it look great, it's going to look like a nice fluffy cloud. And once we're done, I'll show you what yours should sort of look like once you have finished it. So, back in a moment. So, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, I have completed the leaves on the top of the tree. Very simple. Follow the techniques that I outlined a little bit earlier on. Add more layers to the top, add some layers to the bottom, and before you know it, you will end up with a pretty decent set of leaves. Obviously, the more time you put in, the better result you're going to get. I've been a bit lazy with the rest of it because, of course, this is my second time doing it, but you'll know when you're happy personally. And this is it. These are all of the components to the treehouse, ladies and gentlemen. This is hopefully what yours will roughly look like once you have fully completed it. Of course, the only things that we are missing from this point onwards are the inside portions of the tree. So, I am going to go through my magic portal, and I'm going to take you to the original version that will show you the entire inside of the tree and show you how you might want to decorate it and all of that fun stuff. So, let's do it. I'm here! And here we are. So, two main differences that you may notice between this and the version that we have just made is, number one, the leaves will obviously be a bit different everywhere, the random nature of the treehouse. But you might also notice that the roller coaster is a different tone. You can see that we have switched the birch and the oak wood. I actually prefer the version that we just made, but the original version I was kind of locked in because I'd already placed everything before. I was like, I might like it a little bit differently. So you'll be able to see which one you like more or better, and feel free to change yours to adapt. So, the first thing that we're going to do is enter the bottom of the treehouse, and we'll work our way up. So, when it comes to the inside of the treehouse, the main entrance is all the way down at the bottom of the front. And I'm not saying that this interior is like amazing or anything, but it'll just demonstrate how much room that you actually have to make. I repeat, I don't think that this interior is like really amazing, but I just want to show you guys what you can do with the inside should you want to. So, at the base of the treehouse, I have opted to have a bed and plenty of chests and some storage and a bit of a smelting / crafting area. This is like an all-purpose area. So, if you just want to get in quick, you want to get some stuff done, you just want to put some stuff in the smelters, then feel free. If you just want to sleep, if you just want to grab some food, then, you know, this is what this part of the treehouse is all about. We've got some shelves hidden away. You can hide some valuables in the harder to reach places. But ultimately, this is all that's down here. So, let's work our way up to the next level. So the next level is actually where we have the little balcony that shows us the outside the tree. Like, this is where the little house is, which is really, really cool. I love this part of the tree house, by the way. But we also have a fully fitted bedroom, and we have quite a few bedrooms working up the treehouse as well. So if you want to have friends build this treehouse with you, if you want to live in the same house, then this has loads and loads of rooms that are all sort of identical. Beds, chests, crafting tables, armor stands, hidden away chests up in the roof, that sort of thing. And you'll find that as we come up the tree, so like this next level is very, very similar to the one that I just showed you. And then if we come up to the next one, I believe that there is another one. So that's like 3 whole bedrooms. So like this is at the very least like a 3, 4, maybe even 5 player treehouse. If you really wanted it, there's plenty of room, and you could even utilize even more space on the inside the tree. But now we're eventually making our way up to the top living space. So this is where the large tree is. This is the large portion of the house that we made quite early in the video. You can see that we've got like enchanting libraries. We've got even more armor. We've got a loom. We've got more crafting, more furnaces. We've got an ender chest hidden away up here. This is also where the roller coaster will take you. I'll show you that right at the very end. That's where the roller coaster will take you. It brings you all the way up to the top here. More chests. We have a brewing area. We have an empty area. I guess that you could have a little bedroom here or something like that. An entire one person could like live up here if they wanted to. This could be like the owner of the treehouse's level. I guess I kind of forgot about that. Whoops. And as we come all the way up to the very top of the treehouse, you'll notice that we have another ladder, and this actually brings you to the balcony area, which has more chests, another bed, an ender chest. This is much more of like a little lookout area. You can see onto your vast and filled up Minecraft world. Yeah, I guess there's nothing else around us, is there? But, you know, you'd be able to look out onto the landscape from here. And, of course, if you wanted to, you could do the same just a little bit lower as well. Like, if you come out onto this balcony, you know, we've got a couple more chests hidden about the place, but you can do the same thing just a little bit lower. So you can see how much space is actually available to you with this treehouse. It's absolutely insane. It really is crazy. But I would like to show you the roller coaster. So all the way down at the bottom of the treehouse, we have a double chest which will have some minecarts in it. You will place the minecart, of course, onto the rails. I'm going to jump in it. My lever is actually a little bit closer to the edge of the roller coaster, but I like the one that we designed more. You flip that on, and then you can ascend all the way up to the top of your treehouse. And it does take a little moment because it is quite a large system. And eventually you'll reach the top here. You'll be able to jump out, and you are back in your treehouse. So as you can see, it's really, really fun, and it's quite rewarding. I really like that. We're going to go down again as well, so we're going to hop in the minecart, and we're just going to enjoy the atmosphere. A giant water slide on that side, and some ice cream on the other side. Perfect. Look at my legs hanging out the bottom. And that is absolutely everything, ladies and gentlemen. I do hope that you guys have enjoyed building this treehouse. I hope that I have given you a bit of inspiration with the inside. If you have made it this far, if you've enjoyed the tutorial, please do remember to hit that like button, as it really helps me and the channel out very, very much. If you're new around here, please consider subscribing to the channel and clicking the little bell next to the subscription button. That'll ensure that you get all my stuff sent directly to your sub box as well. If you would like to see more treehouses like this, or different ones, or if you have a suggestion for some different styles, I'd love to hear it. Check out, leave a comment down below. I'd love to see what you guys want to see next. And also, if you do want to make any more tree houses by me, I do have a treehouse builds playlist that has loads and loads of awesome tree houses in it. Only my very best tree houses make that playlist, so check that out. That's a card system. The description below, and I'll even leave a link pinned at the top of the comment section, my ultimate treehouse tutorial builds playlist, or whatever it's called. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I'm going to jump off the very top of my treehouse to say goodbye, as is customary in my culture, as you know. I guess I never filled the top of this in. Huh. How about that? Goodbye!